Chosen, we exist on multiple dimensions. And I don't say this out of speculation or assumptions. I say this out of a true, deep soul knowing. If you all recognize this and you don't need any solid evidence here in the 3D to support that statement, leave an 1111 in the chat. I know for a fact that we are multidimensional beings and that this reality right here is only one of infinite realities. I know this. For the past few months, I've been having some reoccurring dreams. It's not the same thing, but it's the same scenario, the same scenery, right? And in these reoccurring dreams, I have been working as a registered nurse. A lot of times I'm working as a nurse. Many of you all know that here in the 3D, that was my profession before I left that career to dive fully into my spiritual work. Okay? If I seem like I'm hesitating with this message, it's because I'm just filtering it to make it make sense to you all. It makes all the sense in the world to me, but sometimes when I communicate, it's like, okay, is it going to make sense to them? So anyways, I've been having this reoccurring scenario where I'm working in healthcare and I'm always inside of someone's health facility. Now, as before I became a registered nurse, I was a CNA for 12 years. So I'm often either a CNA or I'm working as a registered nurse in my dream state, right? And so I thought that was interesting because I would ask myself, like, well, why do I keep having these dreams of working there? And I know for a fact, oh my gosh, y'all, when I drive past nursing homes or hospitals or any type of healthcare facility, first of all, I give thanks to the Most High that I'm not still there. But I always get this feeling in my stomach like, oh my goodness, I remember those days, right? So I have no desire to go back. But I know that we exist on multiple dimensions because last night, y'all, I had a dream. And in this dream, I was thinking. I wasn't interacting with anyone until towards the end. But in this dream, I was just thinking to myself, and I was like, today is the day. Today is the day that I am leaving my job and I'm going to solely focus on my spiritual path, my spiritual purpose, which is what I do in the 3D, doing spiritual work as a spiritual advisor. But in my dream, I was aware of this and I was thinking today is the day. And I thought to myself, like, I'm not going to worry about money anymore. I'm not going to worry about where I'm going to get my finances, how I'm going to maintain my security. I know that this is the right decision for me to make. And in my dream, I made a firm decision to leave my job as a nurse to solely focus on my spiritual pathway and my spiritual work. Literally, y'all. It was so funny because towards the end of the dream, I ended up in this scene where it was all black and white. Y'all remember the black and white movies? That's literally how my dream looked. And this man, he came walking up to me and he was so obnoxious. He was talking like really arrogant to everybody. And when he came across me directly, I guess he thought I was going to be impressed. And I told him, I was like, I said something. Oh my gosh, y'all, what did I tell this man? Pretty much I checked him on his arrogance and kind of put him in his place to remind him of who he was. I can't remember the exact words that I used. All I know is that he took off running down the sidewalk and started doing some kind of circus dance. Like he looked like he had lost his damn mind when I brought that to his attention. But the main thing that really stood out in that moment is that everything was black and white. Everything. I've never dreamt in black and white before. So that was very interesting. And my daughter ended up waking me up here in the 3D. It was so strange because when I got up this morning, she woke me up and she was like, Mommy, my alarm didn't go off. You know, they set the alarm on the phone every morning on cue at 6 a.m. Their alarm goes off on the phone and my alarm goes off on my phone. Nobody's alarm went off this morning, y'all. So we ended up getting up like 45 minutes late. But When I got up this morning, something just felt different. And I couldn't put my finger on it. I just kept telling my children, like, something feels different. I don't know. Something just feels different. But I've come to the realization that what feels different is that things have shifted tremendously on these other realms and dimensions that we exist in. And I've come to the realization that the other versions of myself are now aligning. Okay? We're talking about infinite experiences that's happening, that we are actually living in. It's like everything is starting to catch up. Does that make sense to you all? Because it makes sense to me. Okay? Let me know in the comment section so that I know that I'm not just sitting over here talking to myself. Does that make sense? Everything in every other dimension, our other experiences in other realms and dimensions is beginning to catch up with the intentions that we are setting right here in this 3D experience and what we would consider our conscious experience. Other realms of where we exist is starting to catch up. And that's why finally I was able to have a dream where I made a firm decision to leave the healthcare completely and to solely focus on my spiritual mission, knowing that I would have everything that I need. Now, if any of you have any clarity as far as why the dream was in black and white towards the end, I would love to hear your feedback on that. It could indicate, because consider now, today, if we saw something on TV in black and white, we would say automatically, okay, that must be real old, right? Or we'll say, well, they must be trying to give off the illusion that this particular scene is from back in the day, right? So it could indicate the closing of a chapter. It could indicate the closing of a chapter, but even with that man coming up and he was being so egotistical, it could also indicate the death of the unhealthy pride and ego. Like, it's literally being put to rest, and that energy is being shown for what it is. Clown shit. Because, he literally started running up and down the sidewalk like a circus clown. And that was not expected coming from someone who was walking around being very arrogant, as if he was just high and mighty. And other people was looking, and I was the only one to stand up and say something to him directly, even though he thought that I would be impressed for some reason. With a lot of the alchemy that I do, I'm always including all timelines, realms, and dimensions, known and unknown. So whatever timeline I exist on, whatever other realm, whatever other dimension, known and unknown, whatever alchemy I do, whether I'm clearing things out or calling things in, I'm always including every aspect of who I am, even though there's only one that I seem to be consciously aware of here in the 3D, right? But that dream really showed something. It solidified what I already know. Let's just put it that way. It solidified what I already know. And consider, a lot of times when we have reoccurring dreams, it's because there's another aspect of you that's trying to, it's trying to find its way to where you are currently, in a sense. Like, it's trying to match the frequency or align with the frequency of where you are in your conscious state. Okay? And I feel like there was a series of events that needed to take place for me here in the 3D so that I would finally be 100% certain that my position is secure. And I'm not saying that I haven't had not one thought about going back to healthcare. Not one. Okay? My nurse's license has been hung up on a shelf. It still exists, but I haven't updated it. I haven't renewed it. I haven't done anything. And I don't plan. I will not. Okay? But I'm thinking that it could very well be that deep down, there might have been just a tad bit of residual energy within me that questioned whether or not I am 100% secure in my position. And I still don't identify it here in a 3D. I feel 100% confident in my position, y'all. But the other aspects of who we are is able to present something to us to show us like, okay, you think so, but is that the case on every realm that you exist in? Or is that the case only in your conscious mind right now where you are? And I felt a breakthrough. When I tell you there was this massive shift when I woke up this morning, and I've been having multiple shifts lately where it's like, okay, today just felt different, but today was yet another shift. And they're coming back to back to back. You see what I'm saying? It's a different type of energy that I feel like we are at a very fast pace we're progressing into, okay? I need y'all to talk back to me. 11:11 just passed on my time. I need y'all to talk back to me. What are y'all experiencing out there? Because I can say this, when it comes to recurring dreams, the only other reoccurring dream that I've had in my lifetime was that I was always getting lost somewhere. And I haven't had those dreams in a long time. And I know why. But for years, I had a dream that I was always getting lost somewhere. I would park my car and either I would go into a building and I would never be able to find my way out, or I would park my car and I would never be able to find my way back to my car. Or I would have a particular destination where I was just on foot and I would never end up making it to that destination because I was always getting lost. Always getting lost, y'all, for years. And this was prior to my awakening. This was prior to me actually awakening and understanding who I am here in the 3D. This is before I got on the spiritual journey, and I've now been on this spiritual journey for 7 years now. But that dream was in my life for so long. But now I have a much clearer understanding. The other versions of me in the other realms was just aimlessly wandering. Why? Because here in the 3D, I was aimlessly wandering. I didn't know who I was. I had no idea about what I was supposed to be doing. I had no idea about the journey that I was supposed to be taking. I had no conscious awareness of spirituality from the angle that I understand it now. Like, I was just completely checked out. The Walking Dead, amongst the sleeple and the sheeple, blending in, y'all. And it was very apparent in my dream state. I strongly recommend that if you all are experiencing recurring dreams, really evaluate them and take a look at your 3D experience and see how does it connect. What are the other aspects of you trying to tell you? What are they trying to tell you about what you are experiencing in these other dimensions? Because that is you trying to communicate with yourself. That's your subconscious awareness trying to interact with your higher consciousness to find some sort of balance or to merge the energy in a way where it too can be pulled out from the shackles, to be pulled out of the matrix. Because that just, man, it just tells you how deep the matrix goes. It's not just here in our 3D awareness. The matrix is not just here in our conscious awareness. The matrix runs deep even into other dimensions that we exist in. This web of control has been able to penetrate every layer of consciousness that we exist in. I'm going to get a lot deeper. Like when I tell y'all my spiritual team has been giving me tons of downloads about what this thing really is, and I haven't felt compelled to bring it forward just yet. Not yet. Because I'm waiting for them to give me the green light as to how they want me to present it, okay? Maybe I'm being overly analytical, or maybe even being a perfectionist as far as how I want to bring it forward. But there's a lot of very intricate details that they have shown to me. And in divine timing, we're going to have this discussion. But from an angle where we all can understand and relate, this matrix penetrates far deeper than just this realm that we are consciously aware of, y'all. If you are having dreams about working, if you are having dreams about being in karmic connections, if you are having dreams about taking medicine, if you're having dreams about the government, like that is clear indicators right there that the matrix exists far beyond this 3D experience. And so because of this, when you do your rituals, when you perform your alchemy, it is extremely vital and highly recommended that you are doing this not just on behalf of what you are consciously aware of here, but also to shift the frequency of every timeline, realm, and dimension that you exist on, and that your ancestors exist on, and that your offspring exist on, and that the chosen seed as a whole exists in. Like, this is not just a one-way thing here. This is an infinite realm of possibilities. And it runs deep. There's so much that I want to say, but I want to be able, again, I want to be able to present it in a way where it's a little bit more structured. So many different points that I want to touch on. Like when I tell you my spiritual team showed me everything, but this dream last night solidified it. So I feel like this is the Kickstarter right here. This is the Kickstarter conversation. And I would love to hear back from you all in terms of, what do you see? What do you see? Do you recognize that the matrix exists on many dimensions? And if you recognize that, then what does that mean for us? How do we navigate that? How do we completely remove ourselves or bring utter destruction to it on all realms and dimensions? Now, I've already given you all my particular ritual or what I've been doing, but do you have any idea? Are you even aware that this is the case? We'll be talking soon, y'all. Visit ShaviZanesGuidance.com if you want to purchase any of the products that I have created. I have 6 different decks for you to choose from: Ancestors Money, Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, Dr. Francis Cresswell Singh, and Madam C.J. Walker. I also have the Spiritual Cleanse, where you can cleanse your energy every time you take a shower. It consists of frankincense, myrrh, Palo Santos, and sage. You can also order my miniature altars. You can get my book full of channeled messages, and order your Straight Outta Religion hats and t-shirts. You can also get a 15-minute, 30-minute, or 1-hour session over the phone with me where you can ask as many questions as you'd like. So definitely check out the description box as well as the comment section to book your services and to purchase your products.